So I just want to highlight a couple of things in the director's report and then mention a couple of things that didn't quite make it in time. So one, this is our first summer we've participated with the Brit Kids Concerts series out at the Brit Festival, and that was something that our new outreach supervisor, Amanda Maya Dixon, who was our outreach to child care bilingual specialist, who was just recently promoted to that new role. She helped build that connection and relationship to be out at those events. And as it says on page 13 of your packet, we connected with over 200 families there, got kids signed up for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And that was a fun new way that we've engaged with the Jacksonville community. We also have engaged with the Spanish speaking population in a couple of ways. Our Spanish services coordinator, Milagros Morales, attended the El Mercadito, which was a little market that was set up in Ashland this year. So that was a fun way to engage there. And then Jordana, I'm going to get last names wrong, Perdovi, has noticed an increase in the number of patrons who are seeking additional tech ed assistance who are Spanish speaking. So it's great to see some of those outreach efforts in Spanish continuing and growing. We've also participated in the Children's Festival again this year, and our storytelling tree is continues to be a popular spot at the festival where families can go relax. It's set up near the food tables so they can get a snack, listen to some stories, and we expose them to some of the books that are available through Dolly Parton Imagination Library, get more kids signed up at the Children's Festival, as well as just excited about books. And then just for fun, I love that Talent Historic Society brought back Bob Day, and we have participated in that. Kind of curious to see where that grows over the years as that program comes back. And a couple of items that have come in the last week or so. You may all be aware that RBTD is reducing its services starting on September 2nd. So we received notification this week about that. We've been in contact with them prior to that, but we have almost 20% of our staff who rely on public transportation to get to work. And so they have been very creative and working amongst each other and trying to find alternate ways to get to the library. It will also impact our staff. So with the reduction in hours, they're eliminating all Saturday routes. And then during the week, it's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So with libraries closing at 7 p.m. in Medford and Ashland, we will see some impact both for ourselves and our patrons. They are continuing to provide us with the bus pass program that we can provide reduced price passes for our staff. And there's also a bus token program where we provide some tokens for free to community members who need assistance getting to a job or an interview or elsewhere in the Valley. So those programs will continue, but it is at that reduced service amount. So are there any questions about that? I don't know that I have any further answers than that.
What's the staff discount there?
What's that?
What's the staff discount for the buses?
It's a $10 a month bus pass.
Oh.
Yep.
That's a nice deal.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is.
Yep. And the other thing I want to mention, and Marta can jump in later during the committee reports, but she and I were able to attend the Board of County Commissioners work session. Is that just yesterday? Yeah.
Just yesterday.
Yeah. And so that was great that we were able to get in front of them. And then Patty and I will be at the Shady Cove City Council meeting tomorrow evening. So we're coming in on our goal. We wanted to get before every city council and the county commissioners by the end of the calendar year. And I think we only have about 3 left. So that's been really great to be out in the communities and talking with all of our local elected officials.
Any questions for Carrie?
Can you give us an update on the glass in Ashland? I read the report, but I thought it was going to come back through the board before it was fully approved.
It did come back for approval to the board through the facilities committee recommendation last month, the month before.
We actually decided it had been approved prior, I think, is what happened at the last meeting.
I thought we couldn't see the actual design. We were just given kind of examples.
Right. So this is the actual design in your director's report.
Okay, so this is the first time we're seeing this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
which is
so we are,
remarkably similar to what we already saw. So I'm
Yep.
just making sure.
we are working on the contract details, including timeline for installation of that art work in Ashland, which we anticipate being I would say probably a year out, just because he has to build it and design it and get it installed. So it's about a year-long project.
Did we already talk? Did we already talk money on this? How much it's going to cost, or
It's $25,000.
25,000?
And the Friends of Ashland Library are helping.
It's
Are they?
It's the funding request is going through the foundation, through the restricted fund at the foundation.
All right. Anything else? On the direction? Right.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I still have a question about like collection development, if we could just have a deeper report of that, because it's just kind of mentioned, you know, in the director's report of like, oh, we got things, we're weeding. But it's just, again, it's not really clear to me what our catalog is like trying to reflect, or like what the goals are in these weeding processes, or what the goals are in the procurement processes. So I would just like to know more about that.
Can we talk before our next meeting? We can try to put together something that
Get Lauren to come
will get you
to us.
some information.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Anything else? Going on. Right. So next up is the foundation report. Jenny. There she is, ready to go. You're muted.
You're muted though.
Sorry about that. After all this time, you'd think it wouldn't be necessary to be reminded of that. Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here, and I'm excited to introduce you to a few of our new board members. First, I'm gonna introduce you to someone who's not new to our board, but who is our new board president. Sue Collins is in the audience there, and she has been on the board for a couple of years now, and is already has us working like in sync and with great focus. So I'm excited for the year ahead. I want to hand it off to her so that she can introduce to you some of the new faces on our board who happen to be in the audience tonight.
And if you all want to just step up to the tables here, we can.
I'll bring my team with me.
Yeah.
Well, that's up soon. Gotcha.
I just want to say that I served on the foundation board for quite a long time, and I can't tell you how excited I am about all, and we struggled and struggled and struggled to find board members, and now we've got an incredible board all lined up and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Go for it.
We're very excited. Actually, we finally are at 13 members. When we started last year, we were like at 4. So it's very hard to have committees because there weren't enough people to even cover the committees. So we're very excited about this year. We have already gotten started. We have committees in place. All the committees except for one have met. It will have met before the second board meeting. And so just as a reminder, we follow the lead of the district. You know, your strategic plan, your priorities are our priorities. So we're really focused on technology, early literacy, of course, Dolly Parton, and spaces in the pollinator garden out at Phoenix and stuff. So we're still standing, which is a good sign. Jenny might not be, but we are. So I would like them to introduce themselves. So go, Les.
Sure. Hi, I'm Leslie Pecan. I'm the Dean of Academics and Director of College Counseling at St. Mary's School. Way back in the day, prior to this building being in existence, I was on the Library Advisory Committee. I was also on the Arts Committee. So became good friends with Peter Heltzer, who did all the bronze work in this library, Alan Collins, who did the stonework. And so it's been great to kind of circle back to be able to help out the library again in this new role.
So we're happy to have her, by the way. Yeah. Jody?
Hi, everyone. Jody Pulliam. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Ginny and Carrie in San Diego at the International Public Library Foundation or Public Library Fundraising Conference because I work for a library foundation. So I'm a remote employee, but Jackson County is my community. I've been here about 3 years. So libraries are near and dear to my heart, and I want to do what I can here where my roots are growing to give back to my community. So I do corporate partnerships for a library foundation, and I've been in nonprofit sector for about 10 plus years. So just really excited to be here.
Michelle, can you turn the other mic on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. My name is Michelle Mitzel. I have been a resident of Ashland for 30 years and spent 19 years working at the Ashland Family YMCA in a director role. I'm currently an event planner in Southern Oregon, but I've been doing that for about 15 to 20 years. And yeah, I'm just excited to be part of this crew. I serve on 2 other boards, and I'm all about rolling my sleeves up and working on working boards. So I'm excited to be here.
Good afternoon. I'm Jim Thien. I'm a retired physician endocrinologist. Been in the Valley since '89. Was peripherally active, I think, as part of the school bond issue and library bond issue back in the early 2000s, after 10 years or so. Been a Rotarian for about 25 years. A couple of the things that I'm really looking forward to as part of this amazing board is exploring interface opportunities and collaborations between Rotary as our little club in Bear Creek Valley, which is Phoenix Talent, vis-a-vis the Pollinator Garden, and then Valley Park Imagination Library. So those are 2 of the things that I want to try to organize and moving forward. My wife is Kathy is a former Storytelling Guild Children's Festival president, and so I want to get into that association and explore that a little bit as it relates to all of us. So thank you for having us here.
Thanks for having us. But we really want to tell you also, we really appreciate Patty being able to be part of our foundation board. Carrie comes every month, and Ginny and Deb are unbelievable. So we're so happy to have them as working with us, and we're missing Susan already before she's even gone practically.
So on the relationship committee.
Yeah. There you go. Anyway, thank you all for what you do for the district. We will be behind you, kind of pushing you along all the way, okay?
That's your ringers.
Yeah.
I think Marta would like to say something, I think.
Yes.
Marta.
Yes, thank you. I wish I were there in person to see y'all, but in good news, I'm sick, so it's probably good that I'm out of town. Thank you so much for coming and saying hello. How many of you think you will be there on Thursday when the next book club event is happening next week? Because I'm going to try to make it. So I hope to see you there. I can see if you raise your hands, I'll be like, okay, we're a couple planning.
Yeah, Well Read will be at Motion next week. Next week?
Next week.
Yes,
Yeah,
on the 28th.
And we welcome all of you to come anytime. It's what can be wrong? Good book, good wine. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank
for coming.
you. Thank you, everyone. You're welcome anytime here too.
So thank you for allowing us the time to introduce you to our board. As you can tell, they're phenomenal. They've got great energy, great experience, and we are set to just turn the world on fire with the foundation this year. So I'm really excited to be able to have them join you tonight. I just want to, I guess you've had a chance to read the board packet. So I won't belabor the point, but we've had a very good year last fiscal year. We were able to distribute significant amount of money to the district last year, as well as raise more than 30% more than the previous year, before the addition of 2 large bequests that we received for Ashland and the Butte Falls branches. So we're seeing enthusiasm for the library. People want to support it, and the more that people know about the foundation, the more we see them supporting the library through the foundation. So I encourage you to help us help you by letting people know about the foundation and and keeping us front of mind for people. As was mentioned already, I just want to highlight the upcoming events that are happening. The Well-Read Book Club, our inaugural Well-Read Book Club, is going to be at Remotion Winery in Jacksonville on August 28th at 6 p.m. And the book is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I read it for the book club and I loved it. I was really enthused that they chose that. September 3rd at 7:30, there's a fundraiser at Camelot Theater hosted by the United Rotary Club of Southern Oregon. Tickets are $50, and it's my understanding that the way that you have to get those tickets is to call that number there. So the number is listed for you. Just to save the date, Dolly's 80th birthday is going to be January 19th. So keep your ear to the ground. I anticipate there'll be some fun activities going then. And then our annual luncheon to support Dolly Parton Imagination Library is scheduled for May 3rd at noon. So we'll have more details about those coming as well. Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jenny.
Thank you.
Next up is the statistical report and strategic plan update with Regina, and then we'll Heather talk about finances.
No, that is later on the agenda.
That's, oh, that's right, that's down for, all right, so Regina. You want?
Hold on a second, we can get the tech set up here and then we'll hand it over.
Good evening. I'm happy to be here to present on the statistics and strategic plan metrics for Jackson County Library Services for fiscal year 25. In line with our previous presentations, we will be focusing on our key performance indicators and our strategic plan metrics. Additionally, we will review incident report data and provide a brief overview of national trends. The first section is on key performance indicators. To begin, total circulation. Total circulation is up significantly from last year. Total circulation per capita for fiscal year 25 is 8.15, representing a circulation of 8.15 for each member of the Jackson County population. Next, physical circulation. Physical circulation is slightly down in comparison to last year. When we look at physical circulation per capita, there was a physical circulation of 5.88 for each person in Jackson County. Digital circulation is up 464,000 last year to 502,000 this year. An increase of 8.2%. Digital circulation per capita stands at 2.27, representing a circulation of 2.27 for each individual in the Jackson County area.
Can I clarify? I'm sorry. You're saying for each person in Jackson County or the number of card holders?
For each person in Jackson County.
Really?
The number of library visits increased slightly this year from 723,000 to 734,000. This is an increase of 1.5% per capita. The result is 3.32. New card holders increased by 10.7% in comparison to last year, reaching 12,600 new card holders. 12,600 new card holders represents, sorry about that, represents about 5.5% of the Jackson County population. Notice how this KPI has reached a new high this year. Thank you. Computer use is nearly stable between last year and this year. The decrease is about 0.5%, representing a difference of around 500 fewer computer sessions. Notice how the per capita result is under 1, indicating less than 1 use per member of the population. Here we see the associated data table, including the population number used for each fiscal year to calculate the per capita results. In this section, we review fiscal year 25 incident reports. Here we see a count of reports by branch and month. This slide includes incidents, medical incidents, and observation reports. Here we have that same chart limited to just incident report types. In other words, this slide excludes medical incidents and observation reports.
Can I interrupt? What are observation reports?
Observation reports are when a staff person notices something that might be concerning or might be concerning if it were to become a habit, where it's not necessarily breaking a rule yet, but it's a concern.
And there was reports made to
Jackson County Library Services, so through Orange Boy Savannah.
So it's an internal report
to security, to
other staff, so that if we see, if there's an observation and it becomes a pattern, then we can address it as a rules of conduct violation. So it's it's a precursor, if you will. And
Susan.
Margaret does have her hand up.
Regina, do you want us to hold our questions until the end, or as we go is fine?
I think if they're short questions as we go is fine, but if it is more in depth, then probably at the end.
I'll go in the end then. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. Here we have the ranking of which rule or combination of rules were most frequently listed as being violated in an incident report. Notice there is some overlap. This chart illustrates the reports JCLS received by type. And we also have that information in context of previous fiscal years. The prior chart and this chart are also available for Medford branch and Ashland branch over the next few slides.
Is there any way of increasing the size of that? It's pretty hard to read from this angle, like the last chart. Anyway.
Increase the size. This might be the max size, but we can send you the PDF.
That'd be great.
Okay, this is the chart for Medford branch incidents. Medford branch incidents over multiple fiscal years. Ashland branch incidents and Ashland branch incidents over multiple fiscal years. Now for strategic plan metrics. First, this slide shows the Spanish collection circulation in fiscal year 25. Spanish collection circulation decreased by around 3.5% in comparison with fiscal year 24. Continued work on this collection is called out in Goal 3, Strategy 3 of the Strategic Plan Priorities for fiscal year 26 document, stating, implement collection developments plan to increase and improve access to non-English language materials, particularly Spanish, both physical and digital. This is a chart where we can see fiscal year 25 Spanish circulation by type and by if the checkout was an initial checkout or renewal. Notice the popularity of children's easy fiction. We can see that popularity again in this visual. Here we see some examples of the kinds of items that are seeing the highest circulation for the Spanish collection, and some more of those. Very fun. Definitely looks like something I would check out. Next, we have Library of Things. In the fourth month of fiscal year 25, October of 2024, the Library of Things moved from My Turn to Aspen, allowing for the discoverability of this collection to occur in the usual catalog instead of through a separate landing page. Additionally, new items continue to be added to this collection. Checkouts of Library of Things items has increased by 58% in fiscal year 25.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
That is fantastic. What do you attribute to that? Do we have more things in the Library of Things?
It's a combination. So that collection is managed. So making sure that we have the items that people are interested in. And then also having them be more easily found by patrons in the catalog. So
Great. That's good news.
but that's exactly, I think, what we all hoped for by having it in the same catalog.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. These are the items that have had the highest total circulation since the switch to Aspen. At the top of the list, we have ukulele, external CD DVD drive, and 6-in-1 indoor air quality monitor. Along with some other great stuff, great items, great things.
I'm on hold for that dehydrator. It's mine next. I just checked.
Our next strategic plan metric compares physical and digital circulation. In fiscal year 25, digital circulation passed 500,000, reaching 501,000. 501,000 is about 28% of all circulation this year. Physical circulation at 1.3 million represents about 72% of all circulation this year. In this visual, we can look at how that split, 72% physical versus 28% digital, compares with the proportions of the fiscal year 25 materials budget that are specifically allotted for physical versus digital. Note that the other category is a kind of physical in this chart. In general, the materials budget in fiscal year 25 and the actual circulation in fiscal year 25 mirror each other when viewed as percentages. Next, we have program offerings. Over 3,600 programs, including story times, were offered last year. Here we see that broken out by target audience in the context of the previous 3 fiscal years. The increase in pre-kindergarten program offerings is intentional and has to do with our increase of bilingual Spanish-English story times. This is strategically aligned in 2 ways. The focus is on early literacy and also engaging our Latinx families more. Overall program attendance for the fiscal year reached over 45,000. Notice that we are seeing growth in attendance of adult programming, likely due to a combination of factors. Offering more adult programming and selecting offerings and partnerships that resonate with the community, such as tech ed programs, partnering with master gardeners, partnering with the Southern Oregon Historical Society, and more. Here we have average program attendance by audience. The lower overall number for fiscal year 25 and the reduction showing in some categories suggest that as JCLS added more program offerings, the amount of people attending each offering went down. JCLS's program optimization project, called POP, is collecting responses to a programs survey to assist with better optimizing program offerings to match localized patron interests and patron availability. Moving forward to community outreach by focus. On the left, we have K-12 class and library visits and associated outreach events provided by Education Services and Public Services. The Education Services team was formed in around 2022, and at that time, some schools were continuing to not allow guest visits or field trips due to COVID risk. As the years have passed since then, that is no longer a barrier, and the Education Services team reported that they are near to reaching all in-person public schools as of this past year, a major milestone. Education Services continues to pursue the homeschool community, attending resource fairs. Note that this chart does not reflect ongoing efforts by library staff to connect with homeschool parents and groups through email and phone. In the center, you'll find outreach to childcare, which had staff turnover in fiscal year 25 and ended the fiscal year with fewer visits than last year. The outreach to childcare department mentioned being especially excited about the partnership with Brit Children's Concerts. They're also excited about the success of the special story times at the mall offered by Bethany Peabody over the summer. On the right, we have DART. DART has continued to provide around 130 visits per year in line with previous years. In fiscal year 25, DART continued to build positive rapport both at the sites they visit on a recurring basis, as well as with the overall community during a selection of local events. Here we look at the interactions that occurred during those visits. DART's highest interactions for one-time event included Liam's Trunk or Treat in Central Point with 1,160 interactions, and Southern Oregon Pride with 550 interactions. Recurring crossings and Kelly shelter visits reached over 500 total interactions by the end of the fiscal year.
Quick question on that. What's an interaction with, if you're talking about the Halloween thing, would that be just giving a piece of candy? Would that count?
Right, it would be like any interaction between two people. So in that
Sticker-
case, yes,
sticker, for instance, at Pride, that would count.
right. And of course, some of the interactions would have be more in depth than that too. Yes.
Good.
Um, Next, community resources. Community resources switched to a new kind of tracking in August of 2024. So the numbers in these sections represent totals for 11 out of the 12 months of fiscal year 25. In-person interactions are the most common type by far. In this chart, we see the kinds of information provided. On the right, the other category can include things like where to get help with ID and where to get help with getting a cell phone.
Regina, can you pause there for a second, just because it is hard to read. So some of the other categories, the most popular on the first one is directions inside the branch. And that is sometimes where they're located, particularly in Ashland. It's how do you get to where things are within the branch? Library services, food, shelter, clothing. And these would be referrals to other agencies that can help with this. Income assistance, transportation, and medical. So as Regina said, we will get this to you all, so you have this in front of you after the meeting.
What's that smallest one?
Alcohol and drug treatment.
Quick question. If somebody receives information about more than one category, is it only counted by the one primary? Or say if somebody comes in about shelter but also directions inside, it's counted in both.
I believe it's counted twice in that situation.
Thank you.
In this chart, you see an overview of services provided through community resources. The other category includes things like reading glasses, cups for the water fountain, a trash bag or other bag. In Ashland, it can things under the other category may additionally include requests for plastic utensils, borrowing a bike lock, or using a can opener. The seasonal category includes sunscreen, aloe vera gel, hydration drink, powder packs. If it's smoky, there are also N95 masks. In the winter, it could include things like hand warmers, gloves, beanie hats, and emergency blankets. So I'm just going to also read out the labels here since it looks so small up there. Outgoing calls, bus tokens, clothing, hygiene, medical, seasonal, snack, other, lost and found, incident.
What are incident?
So,
So what are you providing?
well, that would be, I assume, dealing with an incident. So it could be reporting an incident or calling a security guard, I'm assuming, or that sort of.
So it's not really a service, is it? Or
Well, I mean, I guess it would.
We'll get more information on that one.
Yes, yeah. The last slide of this section shows staff training, both by number of hours and number of staff people participating in the training beyond what is required. 12 staff people logged 5 or more trainings in the professional development log and received a JCLS scholar pin from HR. In conclusion, we have the final section, which provides a brief overview of some national trends. This chart is from the Urban Library Council data hive. Each color represents a library system. On top, we see how most of these libraries have between a 5% and 42% year-over-year growth in their electronic circulation, while the increase or decrease in physical circulation tends to range from -10 to +10. If JCLS was included in this chart, on the top, we would fall right between these two green libraries on the left with the 8.2% increase. Below, the dark green library has the same physical circulation decrease year over year as JCLS at 1% decrease. Overall, we can conclude from this chart that while changes in physical circulation over the last year varied between libraries, it did not tend to change more than 10% in either direction. In comparison, electronic circulation is more universally gaining ground, and half of member libraries on the chart show a 15% or more increase in comparison to the prior year. When we compare JCLS with other libraries who use our same Orange Boy Savannah software, JCLS has a higher proportion of users who primarily use the digital collection. On average, about 5% of users of other Savannah libraries have digital collections as their primary library use. For JCLS, 18% of users primarily use the digital collection. This information supports decisions that JCLS has already made, such as adding a dedicated digital selection librarian and beginning the transition from ODLC to our own Overdrive collection. National data suggests that digital circulation has additional growth potential. Here we have another chart from ULC specific to libraries like JCLS that have under a 350,000 population service area. This chart focuses on changes between 2019 and 2023. Libraries in this category that are part of ULC tended to see a reduction in programs, a reduction in computer use, while also seeing an increase in incidents, security budget, and wireless activity. We have reached the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for your time, and this would be a great time to look at questions if we have time.
Yep. Before we start with questions, I just would like to ask if we're going to have access to this information in some form where we can actually
Yes,
absorb it, because
Yeah.
this was a huge amount of
it's a
information.
big data dump.
Just dropped on us without any chance to look at it beforehand. Yeah. So, all right, good. So other questions, Marta, you had one?
Yes, thank you. And I appreciate the data dump for sure. For when we receive this packet later, having labels on the library averages in terms of physical and digital circulation, like the multicolor graph, the really colorful one, that would be helpful. Also, yep, that one. Is this national? Is this Oregon-wide? I'm sorry if I didn't catch it. I was coughing.
Oh, right.
Okay. And then when you reported on the types of incidents towards the beginning of the presentation, we don't have to go all the way there. I mean, if you can, that's awesome. I know we recently approved an, I believe, unattended child policy, or being responsible for a child or an adult who is in your care at the facility. No, not this one. I think it was before or after the slide.
Down, I think. Yeah.
There we go. Would that be included in other, or do you think that type of an incident might get its own category? Because, policies matter. And I'm just curious whether it's going to be rolled up with an other, you think, or it would be 9 because it's unable to care for self or others. So like if there are concerns about a child not being attended to, would that be 9 or 2?
I believe that would go under 2. Looking at Joan, she said yes. And the reason why I'm assuming that it hasn't been assigned a major category is because it has not happened frequently enough to need its own label.
Yeah.
Which is good news, right?
Yeah. It's hopefully it's, the amount can be aggregated. And then one slide after about the dart van incidents. Oh, maybe before, where you had all the branches. There we go. I have a question. Is it the dart van like an incident inside the van, or it's an incident at a location where it's stationed to provide services? I guess that's my one question. Like it's not actually an incident inside the van.
I think it could be an incident that would happen in either of those situations, could
Okay.
potentially be reported with that as the branch / location.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
It's usually something that happens at the event, like with Gina's thing.
So it would be an outreach event that Dart was present at. So we do occasionally, when we're out and about, have some interactions that we want to document and make sure our staff feel safe
Gotcha.
in those situations.
Thank you. Those are my 3 questions. I've been taking notes.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Right, on the incidents thing, is there a way of determining whether they were serious incidents, like reported to police, or whether they're just reported internally?
We can note that in the incident report, whether police were called, and also note them on the
I
system.
mean, is it noted on these charts?
Oh, no, I don't think.
No, didn't create a separate chart just for if the
And I'm
police.
trying to get an idea of how safe we are, and be, I don't know how you can do that, but to give some sort of a severity index. I mean, do we have a problem with people returning after they've been
It happens quite a bit.
quite a bit? Yeah, I mean, like, do we call police on that?
It depends on the severity. If we know that person is dangerous, then yes. But sometimes it's not, they're not dangerous, but we just have to keep reminding them people are suspended. You can come back on this date or.
And we're doing that, and we're
Yeah.
not just letting it
Oh, no.
stay.
And some of the incident reports are actually a report that a suspended patron has come back to the library. So we do have that data internally. And so what I'm hearing is if we included a slide or something that was like the percent of incident reports that are reported to the police would be a meaningful statistic, perhaps.
Yeah, it's still determining.
Yeah.
how safe
Right.
it is. I think it's safe, but I don't.
Right.
It seems like obscenity is the number 3 one, harassment, abuse of those would be serious. I think. Would go beyond just internal reporting.
Yes.
Yes, we do also have the suspension guidelines we shared with you all a while ago, but we can share that document
can.
back again.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you all have that context for how we determine and what length of suspension people receive depending on the severity of the incident.
Okay.
We have all of that. Keep making notes.
No.
Can you just go back to the last slide again, or second to last, I mean? Before the thank you slide.
Oh, before the thank you slide? you
Yeah,
think?
like all the way to the last slide. I just wanted to see that one again.
The national trends.
Yeah,
This one?
yeah.
So what,
Maybe we could have somebody answer some questions after we've had a chance to look at them in a more meaningful way where we might have more questions.
Yep. So in this too, what we're and this is where we have to correlate between our local statistics and the national data. And so correct me if I get this wrong, Regina, but in terms of number of computers, or excuse me, number of programs, we are seeing an increase in ours, which is reversing, which is going against that negative trend that is seen at our peer libraries. And the same with computer usage. Our computer usage was down less than 1%, where other libraries are seeing up to a 41% decrease. Our incidents, I think we're kind of in stride on that one, unfortunately, as well as the increase in security budgets. Our security budget didn't increase significantly from fiscal year 24 to fiscal year 25, but from fiscal year 23 to 24, when we implemented security, that's when we saw the bump there. And then our Wi-Fi usage has also consistently been pretty high. We did not report that in this report. That will come in our annual statistical report that we submit to the state. So I don't know that. You might know the number, but not off the top of your head. We haven't quite calculated all the Wi-Fi usage yet. So, but the reason for including this was to kind of show that in many areas where others are seeing a decrease, we are actually seeing an increase. And so I don't have a reason why we're bucking the national trends in all of those areas, but it's just a way to demonstrate that in some places we're on par, and in other places we are the anomaly.
Some great context.
Other questions for Regina? Good job. We'll come back.
Thank you.
Get you once we've looked hard.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank
It's a lot of information and to collect and manage. So that's it for reports. Under unfinished business, we have the committee reports, which we sort of lined up at the retreat. I think this is an opportunity to say if you are happy with your committee assignment and if you want or need to change it. Okay.
I noticed on number 8, Personnel Committee.
Yeah,
Thank you, Vicky Brown, for hanging in there with us.
So that needs to be updated to Kevin.
I noticed. that
Kevin
one
Keating
too.
was the.
I noticed it too.
I think that's where Kevin is supposed to slot in. Is that correct, Kevin?
That's correct.
My
So
understanding. You're it?
I'm the person, yes.
Good for you.
Person for personnel. And then also I want to note on committee number 4, the Data Metrics and Finance Committee. We did combine those 2 committees that had been separate committees in the previous fiscal year. So in combining those, we forgot to add Heather, and we are not talking finances without her.
No.
So I believe those were the only 2 corrections that I noticed at least.
And the ad hoc committee on strategic planning, does that have any people on it or talked about that?
That's the list underneath.
Yeah, members, yeah.
Oh,
It's just not numbered because it's different.
and then just the liaison, are we equal liaisons, or I think Marta's primary on that? Marta, is that correct?
For
Yes.
which one, for RV Cog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just personally I like having a backup listed. I don't know if we have
I
to.
just was listed first, and it's probably Marta.
Oh,
Right.
gotcha.
We should flip that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm the primary. I'm going to their meeting in person next Wednesday, all that. Thanks.
Is there any reason both of us couldn't go on a certain time if we wanted to?
Not at all. I think it's a great idea.
Or we only have one?
Only one vote. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
All right. I believe we are to approve this list. So maybe before we have any further discussion, we should get a motion on the floor. I have a motion to approve this committee roster with its assignments.
So moved.
Kevin moves approval.
Second.
Okay, the motion has been moved by Kevin and seconded by Patty. Is there
No,
any further
Marissa.
discussion?
I was actually.
No, that was by Marissa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Seconded by Marissa. Any further discussion? Questions, comments? Please, let's vote. All in favor, raise your hand. It passes unanimously. All right. So next is all these new business things that have to do with getting us up and running now that we're a couple of months into this fiscal year. Heather,
Hey, I have a
take it
list,
away.
have a list for you today, but most of it's just housekeeping and won't take too long. So, the first 2 are resolutions to update our, banking signers. So it is for our Banner Bank, which is our operating bank, and the LGIP, which is the investment fund. So we are taking Vicky off of those, and we are adding Susan as the president and Kevin as the vice president on both of those. So we just need a motion to, we need to do them one at a time. So the first one is for Banner Bank. If we could have a vote on that resolution.
Question.
Sure, yes, ma'am.
I think there's a not a typo, but a sentence that needs to be fixed.
Sure.
So on the be it resolved on subpoint 1, it says the former board member, named member, and former JCLD something. So just that sentence needs to be cleaned up.
Okay, yes, we can do that.
That's it. Otherwise, it looks like we missed another person we're removing. That's all.
I have just one question too. Are we vice chair and chair, or is it vice president, president?
President, vice president.
Okay. So,
So, okay. So what's supposed to go in there?
Nothing. I just didn't cut and paste correctly. Just delete that. So there's a member Vicky Brown and then delete and former JCLB.
All right. So it's moved and seconded. We do that? No, we haven't done that one yet. Behind. But can I have a motion to approve resolution 2026-01? So moved. All right, Patty's moved,
This is Marta and I second.
Marta seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolutions actually require a roll call vote.
All right, Yoli, will you do it?
Susan Keeper,
Aye.
Patty Jensen.
Aye.
Marta Teranci,
Aye.
Marissa Shepherd,
Yes.
and Kevin Keaton.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next up,
Next one is the same, but this is for the LG IP account, which is local government investment pool account, which is where all of our property tax deposits go.
can I have a motion to approve resolution 2026-02?
So moved.
Kevin moves. Second. Patty seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor? Oh, roll call. Roll call, that's right. Keep going.
Susan Keeper.
Aye.
Patty Jensen,
Aye.
Marta Teranci,
Yes.
Marissa Shepherd,
Yes.
and Kevin Keating.
Yes.
You. The third on the list here is an update to one of our policies. This is the public contracting rules and procedures policy. We are catching up to some changes that the state of Oregon has made. So they have increased their dollar thresholds for when we have to go out to public bid for contracts. So prior to this change, any contract that was over $10,000 required us to go to bid. Now it's $25,000. And then, so that's the small procurement. There was a mid-range procurement that used to be from 10 to 100, I think. And that was now it's gone up to 100 to 250. And then the large procurements are anything over 250. So all we're doing on this is, if you look at the red line that's included is we're updating our thresholds to match the state of Oregon's thresholds. And then there's also some language updates as far as using his or her, and change that to their, just so we don't have to update it every time, or if somebody changes it from man or woman. So just to make it a little cleaner and up to date. So I would recommend that this be approved so that we're in line with the state.
Question.
Yeah.
Get a motion on the floor first. Oh, since I think that's what we're supposed to do. So, all right. Patty moves approval. Second. No second. I'll second. So now your question.
Disposal of surplus property, it says, it's just a little confusing, but in number 2, subpoint B.
Okay.
Surplus property, et cetera, may authorize the board president or their designee. It's unclear whether you mean the board of directors designee or the board president's designee, because we're using the word there rather than a singular or plural word. And I honestly think we should probably stick with the his, her, as it is more clear in terms of singular or plural. And it's clear enough.
Well, perhaps we should have a separate discussion about uses of pronouns, since this would affect not just this one, but I mean, this is gonna come up
You probably should have.
a bunch. So
Well, we should probably just stick with the first thing, just right now. Does that make sense that it's a little unclear?
It's throughout the document, just so you know, every time it says the board president or their designee, so it's not just in that section. I just want to make sure that it's.
Could we put just the president's designee on? It's not a big deal, but it's. I originally thought it meant the board of directors was going to authorize someone other than the board president.
Right, so I think it makes sense, like, so in the place where it's ambiguous, whether it's the board or the board president
Right.
or the designee. And there is language in other policies of the board president or designee, which is usually me, as the executive director, so. So I think that to clarify in that sentence to say, the board of directors may authorize board president or president's designee, board president's designee is what he's saying, but then in like section J, 1B, where it says the board president or their designee, it's clear because it's not an either or.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
That work for you? Right. So, do we need,
This needs to be,
are there other questions?
Do we have to amend for that?
Well,
I
I'm-
think we do. It's, would you
I would-
accept this?
I think we can prove it with that
Good. All right.
little change, hopefully, or.
Can you please summarize the change for me?
So in section section 2, number B,
Yeah.
it'll be amended to read, the board of directors may authorize the board president or the board president's designee to dispose of the property in any appropriate manner.
Okay, gotcha. Yep, we're specifying what there would have meant. Thank you. I'm on board with that.
Question, you better, does that not comport with your advice?
No, this, I, it was more on like, should we amend it, but it's the motion that we just, yeah, we're good, we're good. Going through the procedure.
Any other comment, changes, suggestions? We need another roll call? No, we don't need another roll call. So all in favor? Looks unanimous. The motion carries to approve the update of the procurement.
okay, so the last thing is just the financial report. And this is our year-end report for last fiscal year. This is just so you know, there will be a few minor cleanup items that come through as we prepare for audit. We're doing our audit list right now. So there's just a few minor tweaks here and there, but I don't suspect anything will substantially change from what you see here. Also, nothing has significantly changed from what you've seen all throughout the year. So that's good. We came in well within budget for expenditures, and we came in right on target for revenue. So we are looking good and within what we planned. So that's good news. Just to go into the few things that I picked out in the general fund, most of these have been things that we've pointed out every quarter. I would like to say the personnel costs came in at 99% of budget. So that was exciting for me. That's always one of those that if you can budget for that, that's a good one. Our library materials purchases also came in at 100% of budget. Utilities, we anticipated that overage all year long, but it only came in at 111% of budget, which wasn't too bad. I actually thought it might be a little bit better than that. So that was a good way to end the year. Legal fees, as we anticipated, were over budget. It shows 216%, but that represents $11,600. So in relation to dollars, wasn't a huge overage. Also in district mileage, again, that's been a problem area all year. And we did a budget appropriately for that for the next fiscal year. Buildings repairs and maintenance was at 104% of budget. This has been a continuing thing also where we had a true up from the county that was $35,000 earlier in the year. So that was over budget for the whole year. Overall, the total overage was 24,000. So we made up some of that and some savings from other areas. Memberships, dues and subscriptions shows 124% over, and this is only $5,000 though. So, and this was mostly due to some timing. We made some changes in our policy for prepaid expenses where we used to, it's everything that's $6,000 or more for a contract like that. We now expense it throughout the year. So some smaller ones that were like around $3,000 got expensed all at once. And so there were a couple of those that fell in, and twice within the year. So it will all even out next year. So I don't expect that will continue again. Advertising recruitment jumped to 159% of budget. This is because we had some big positions that we've been filling this last few months. We brought in some candidates from out of town and had to pay for some of their travel expenses. We obviously didn't budget for those. We didn't expect to have to fill those positions. So that put us over. And then just overall, the general fund expenses were 93% of budget, which is approximately $1.2 million under budget. So we had quite a bit of savings in there. We did have a contingency of $500,000 in that budget, so we didn't have to use that. So that's a big chunk of it. But one thing to note is that we also budgeted for a $250,000 transfer from the general fund to the capital improvement fund. And we wait to do that until the end of the year to make sure that there's room to do that. And so there is room in the general fund to do that this year. And then that brings us to the capital improvement fund. We also did well here. We were only, materials and services were at 78% of budget. Capital outlay was only 30% of budget, and mostly because several of our capital projects weren't initiated or completed in the last fiscal year. And so, one of the things we need to decide today is whether to do this transfer from the general fund to the capital improvement fund. The finance department is neutral. It's something we brought to the finance committee meeting. But because Marissa was the only board member present at that meeting, we didn't feel like it was appropriate to make that decision. So wanted to bring it forward to the meeting today for you all to discuss if we'd like to go ahead and make that transfer or not. And before we go on to discuss that, I'll just wrap it up with the grants. Grants were also 82% of budget. So all of our funds were well within budget this year. We ended up on a really good note. And
We don't have to return any money that was not spent. Right?
for grants. So no, our revenues were also down for grants. So our forecast, both were down. So we spent what we got.
Okay.
So I assume we need a motion. We're going to approve this report.
Right. So the recommendation would be to accept the report and also to make a determination on the transfer of the 250,000.
Just before we get to the 250, can I ask just a couple of questions? Nothing big, but so if we spent in the general fund, I guess 88%, is that correct? From the first page 33.
For the general fund, our expenditures were 88% of budget. Correct.
Okay, so that's good. We're not going to see those expenses pushed into the
No.
next year. Right?
No,
Okay.
things don't get rolled over into the next budget. So this is what it is.
Yeah, that's all I have. Good. Oh, I did the facility furnishing expense. That was kind of way off.
Facility what?
Furnishings, it's 6082. And we budgeted 220 and we spent 63. Is that like good? We don't have to spend more later.
There were plans to, I don't remember what it was for. There just were some plans to do some furniture purchases that didn't happen, and I can't honestly.
We saved a bunch of money. That's good.
Right. And if we did plan, like if that rolled over to this year, it would have been included in this year's budget. It won't like roll over to add to it. Carrie, I don't remember. Do you remember what the furniture? I don't either. Sorry.
I believe part of what was in that budget was in, no, I'm not even gonna speculate. I don't remember. It's fine.
Library.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's some of its capacity of how much we can order.
Cool.
Other questions for Heather? All right. So we need a motion to approve the budget transfer, that, right?
Yeah.
From,
This is Marta, and I make the motion to approve the financial report as presented and to authorize the transfer of $250,000 to the capital improvement fund.
thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Marissa will second. Marta's moved approval of the financial report and the budget transfer, and Marissa has seconded it. Is there any further discussion?
Can we just get a pro and con on why we would or would not want to? Such a
Sure.
transfer.
Yeah, I think the only reason it even becomes a question is just looking like at our 5-year forecast and where we expect to be with our general fund. And just knowing that that's reducing our amount and we get closer and closer, you know, as the years go out to not meeting our policy of the 4 months of operating expenses going forward. Now, that's the only reason that you would look that I would look at that. However, the capital improvement fund is a discretionary fund. It's not a real restricted fund. It's actually just something that the board
Give
has
it back.
chosen to separate. So if we need it, we can put it right back. It's the only thing that I look at in this is that that's what we budgeted for. So it looks nice when you do what you expected to do.
And I'll just say, and Susan, you can speak to this as well, but the board has chosen in the first 11 years of being a district to try to put some funds into that capital improvement fund every year, recognizing that ongoing, even routine maintenance costs money over time. And so by budgeting for it and transferring the funds, it helps remind us that maintaining our buildings takes additional funding. And so it's part of our budget process. And then part of us being able to say, okay, now we do have the funds to do these major deferred maintenance projects that are required to keep our buildings maintained well.
There's Marta. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Thank you. Also, folks, can you please speak into your mics louder? Thank you. My understanding from the discussions we had within the budget committee, where there were as many at-large public members as there were JCLD board members, is that we would continue to contribute to the capital improvement fund as we're able. And so to me, this is consistent with the consensus that resulted out of the work of that group. And I don't see a reason to not make this transfer. And I'm glad we're in a position to be able to do it. That's my commentary.
Anything else? We have building maintenance and repair in the general fund, and then we have building maintenance and repair in the capital improvement fund. And I'm just curious as to what buildings we're talking about in the capital improvement budget.
So primarily that's a difference in the size of the building and maintenance and repairs that are necessary. And I don't know if there's like an auditor threshold on that, but if it's a updated drinking fountain, that would come out of the general fund. If it's replacing the whole wall that the drinking fountain sits on, that would be a capital project. So part of it's the size of the project in terms of which one it goes under.
Thank you. Are we ready for a vote? Any further discussion? All right. All in favor, please indicate. I see 5 hands up. That appears to be a unanimous passage of this. Thank you very much. Next is updating board information on the website. We talked at the retreat or work session, one of those meetings, about putting headshots and biographical information on the website. Do you want to talk about collecting that information from people, or do we need to agree that we will hold still for posting?
Right. So one of the things, I think the discussion in general was, how can we help increase that community engagement and so folks know who you all are and also a little bit about you. And so our community engagement manager, Josh Letzinger, has created a fillable form that I will send out to you all if you agree to having more information on our website. And what we talked about was doing just a brief paragraph about each of you. The form is asking for additional information because we may want to do a spotlight press release or put something in a newsletter for the future as well. So there may be opportunities for a more expanded get to know you about individual board members. We're also happy to have someone from our marketing team come to our next board meeting and take headshots if you don't have a professional headshot that you would like to use for a picture on the website. But we'll coordinate with our website specialist to make sure that we get the page updated and that information in a logical place on the website, should you choose to move forward with this. We'll make it easy.
All right. So we want a motion to approve this? Or
I
can we
think this
we
is
can
just a
it looks
consensus, but I
there's
feel
a
like
consensus that we
Yeah.
can do this, so,
I enthusiastically,
all right, we'll just say, let's move ahead then.
yes.
Great.
Yay.
All
we'll
right.
get information out to you, and thank you all for that, and we'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay. So we then have committee reports from the Data and Metrics Committee and the Relationship Committee.
I guess
Are
that'd be.
You want to report on the Data and Metrics and Finance now too?
Yeah, I mean, not much to report since Regina gave us kind of what we went over and she implemented some of the changes that we had talked about. So that was really good. And then same thing with the finance, again, not much to report. A lot of things to the work that Heather has done to make the budget a lot easier to read. And then, yeah, we already voted on the transfer of the money, which again, I was the only one to discuss it with myself, but I thought it was a good idea.
We yourself had a good time.
Yeah.
Where was the other?
I don't know.
All right, any questions for Marissa about the Data and Metrics Finance Committee?
Thank you.
Thank you for your report. Patty, would you like to talk about the Relationship Committee?
Can you turn the mic on so that we can hear her? Is it on? Okay.
I would be delighted to do so if I knew anything about what's going
So,
on. That
We did
having
include
our first meeting,
the minutes are in your board packet, so you do have the minutes in front of you. If you
but I
want
was not at that meeting.
Okay, that's right, I forgot. I'm sorry.
I
Yeah.
wasn't there yet.
That's right, Susan, so maybe you should fill in.
About the Relationship Committee, because I was there.
Okay, good.
Uh,
Thank you.
We have the minutes. I think the main thing that we've been working on is trying to get the foundation board and the district board to interact more comfortably and to know each other and to figure out how we can work together on things that will benefit the libraries. And so we are encouraging both boards to show up for many of these events. If you can come to the well-read book clubs, please, district board members, please support the foundation's efforts. And we will encourage the foundation board members to support the district projects when we're doing that. And we, under the third bullet point, we're talking about a joint work session and a joint social gathering so that we can get, since the foundation board now has all these members that I don't even know. I think it'd be great to have an opportunity for us all to get together and learn who we are and figure out how to pull together better.
I apologize. I actually do have an update. Thank you for our matchmaker, who put Patty V and Patty J together, and we're going to be meeting to discuss some of what you just shared.
All right. Any questions or comments about
Yeah, just a follow-up from the work session, because I know we talked about like some sort of better way to coordinate tabling and stuff. Have we made any progress on that, or is that still work in progress?
That's Patty meeting with Patty to
Okay.
talk about that very thing. And then we've talked about, I'll work with Yoli on updating the JCLD board calendar, perhaps as a place where we can make sure that those invites kind of get out to you all so that they get onto your calendar. But I think with Patty meeting with Patty as well as our new outreach supervisor, I think we're in a place to be able to start planning further in advance for those opportunities.
Yeah, and the foundation putting those dates on the calendar, that's helpful in the board packet, so
Yeah.
putting those on our calendar.
Great.
Lots of calendars to keep track
Yes.
and a growing number of events to keep track of too. Yay, which is a good thing. Yay. All right, I think we have hit the end of the regular agenda. So we will adjourn the regular
Policy committee update?
policy.
I mean, sorry, advocacy, I'm sorry.
All right, it's not on the agenda, but please update.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
heard Carrie kind of preview the roadmap earlier on the call, so I assumed it's just always there. Director May and I had a great presentation and a conversation that followed with the Jackson County Board of Commissioners and two key county folks that work with us on facilities questions were there as well. A really great conversation. There was a keen interest from the commissioners to learn about how we track incidents, and also a keen interest in how we are planning to maintain and develop and possibly expand our facilities. So they are going to be receiving more updated data, system-wide data as a follow-up, as well as the facilities master plan. And they invited us back, probably sometime within the year. And they appreciate all the work that the libraries do. It resulted in a 40-minute plus conversation, and it was great to be welcomed. And yeah,
They're feeling guilty about taking us out of their budget. Be happy that we're doing well on our own.
another thing for the advocacy committee, we are going to be soliciting ideas from all the board members to share with the staff that is helping the advocacy committee with our champions. We just stopped. So, to all of the board members and staff, if you have advocacy related and library championing updates, activities, highlights to share that could go into the champions newsletter, please let the advocacy committee folks know. And our internal liaison for that is Mariah Mills, and she's been fantastic. So she's keeping us on track. And if you know folks who would like to get more advocacy type of updates from the library, please suggest that they subscribe to the Library Champions newsletter. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Wasn't trying to exclude you. But any questions for Marta on her advocacy update?
Thank you.
Nope.
Anything else? All right. All right. Now we.
We have to transfer into the executive session, but
All right.
then you get the gavel.
For God's sakes, don't use that gavel.
Executive
Yeah, I
session.
thought we adjourned this one.
Well, we end the agenda and then you move
Yeah,
to go into
we-
executive session and
Right.
then you adjourn.
We will now excuse all you other attendees. Thank you for coming. Please come again.
Okay.
Jackie, if you said something just a few minutes ago, I did not hear you. I could guess that was you, but can folks continue?
It was Hannah. She just said, no, don't hit the gavel. Hold on. We're not
Okay,
adjourned yet.
gotcha.
So we're getting ready to go into executive session.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Here's the super press. So do we have the little blurb, please,
I
about?
do have the little blurb.
Okay. So you, if you could read the little blurb directing press on
I
what they
will.
can and cannot do, that would be.
I will do that. All right, the Jackson County Library District will now meet in executive session pursuant to Oregon Revised Statutes 192.660 sub H regarding consulting with counsel concerning legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed.
Folks, there are still some folks who are not board members on the call. It's maybe they haven't hit leave.
It's
So-
okay because we have not actually moved into executive session yet.
Okay.
We need to read the statement in a public session before we adjourn into executive.
Thank you.
No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of today's executive session, the board will come back to its regular session, during which the board will not take action or make a decision. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the meeting. Board members are advised not to discuss subjects apart from those legally justifying today's executive session. And representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. All right, we've now closed the executive session and reopened the public session and adjourned.